part 12 now of the central nervous system, the brain, and we're going to work on sleep and the importance of sleep in this particular section, and we might, how shall I say, slip over into the next section as well, because it's a vitally important area of consideration. It's so important that one of the top researchers in the world here at UC Berkeley is Matthew Walker, and he has a book out called Why We Sleep, and he's also the administrator of the UC Berkeley Sleep Lab, one of the most, how shall I say, highly decorated scientists in terms of research. And so we're going to be having a 54-minute Google Talk by him, and I'm going to be handing out a somewhat lengthy handout that follows every single word he says. Now, I'm a physiologist and a biochemist and an endocrinologist more than I am a psychologist, whereas Dr. Matthew Walker is much more of a psychologist, and we'll talk about sleep in that regard, but there's a lot of overlap. First of all, one of the primary things I need you to know is that when you study with subspecialties of internal medicine, these are individuals, whether they be cardiologists or endocrinologists or other subspecialties of internal medicine, these are people who speak in a language that is almost shamanistic. And so when I sat with them as a medical student, I was constantly having to sort of ask them about some details that they were discussing. So here's what I need you to know, and we're going to turn all the way over here to a page 936 over here in nutrition, actually, or maintenance of body temperature, metabolism. And we're going to look at a table briefly here, which is in anybody's book. I think it's going to be table 24.5. And it summarizes normal hormonal influences. And what I've done here is that I've detailed for you what is the daytime cocktail and what is the nighttime cocktail. And this is according to the subspecialty of internal medicine doctors because they kept on talking about daytime and nighttime cocktail, about, what's going on in the blood values that they were observing. So let's check it out here. And let's look at insulin is considered day, and epinephrine is considered day, and thyroxine is considered day. Those are the main daytime cocktail ingredients. When you wake up in the morning, you need epinephrine. Okay, and epinephrine gives you the reticular activating system stimulus so that you're able to start to burn glucose and fat, and that you start to stimulate the breakdown of glycogen. So that's part of the deal. And so that's part of the daytime cocktail. When you're asleep at night, you're in parasympathetic tone. And when you're awake during the day, you're in sympathetic tone. So it begins with epinephrine. And then if you do have an activity, one of the first things you need to do in your activity is realize that your thyroxine level is going to rise as your activity level rises. I would prefer, of course, to have a little breakfast first, and hence insulin is also an important part of the daytime cocktail. Okay, insulin will actually block growth hormone, which is released at night. It will stop it dead cold. So that six-pack and the pizza right before going to bed, not brilliant. You're going to wake up with a hangover and a cotton mouth. Why? Because basically your insulin was out all night, you got no growth hormone, and nothing really happened for you when you ate late at night and had a six-pack. So the deal is that night is actually going to engage, nighttime sleep is going to engage in a very special group of activities that begins with growth hormone. So let's take a look at night here. Night, glucagon, the opposite of insulin. Okay, so it's going to basically pull out your glucose into the blood so that growth hormone, and all of the liver growth factors can go about their business of building new highways, new buildings, new bridges in the human body, replacing the ones that broke and making them new and strong and fabulous. Okay, and then of course the other thing that's going to be there is cortisol. Now, if you have a little bit of cortisol, then cortisol acts like a bloodhound and tells all of the growth hormone and the growth factors where to do their work. So I need you to understand that. And we're going to go over this many times before you're done with me. Okay? So nighttime cocktail is going to be, and let's put it up here on the top. Nighttime cocktail is going to be these guys here. Okay, that's the nighttime cocktail. Okay, and then the daytime cocktail is going to be the insulin. This is the day, and the day. Okay, and clearly it was a guy who made the table here. He stuck in testosterone for whatever reason, and this is a metabolism thing, so that's why. But one of the problems with, well, I won't go into it at the moment, but at any rate, the daytime cocktail is insulin. Insulin actually stops everything cold that was happening at night. We're not going to have growth hormone activity. It literally blocks growth hormone, insulin. Okay, and then we have epinephrine. Epinephrine means that your muscles are functioning and that you have muscle tone and that your joints work well because they have support from the surrounding muscles. And thyroxine is happening, which means that especially if you've had a little walk, run activity of some kind, a bike ride, you've been out on your skateboard or you've gone dancing or whatever it is that you've done that is of an aerobic experience, then your thyroxine kicks in. And your thyroxine will go up with the epinephrine levels. And then after the epinephrine activity is over, that is to say you've stopped running and you've started to walk and then, gone about your day, the thyroxine nevertheless will stay elevated. It's one of the secrets of early day activity is that you go for a morning run and you're smart all day long. You will find out what the benefits of thyroxine really is. But one of the things is that it maintains your basal metabolic rate and it maintains your brain function. Okay, so that just means you're going to be vivid all day long and fun to be with and basically having a really good time. Okay, so there's that. Nighttime, it's really important, though, for glucagon to supply glucose to the activities of the growth hormone, and the growth hormone be guided by the cortisol. Cortisol is located in terms of production in the adrenal cortex. The adrenal cortex on each side of your body has about 1.5 grams of vitamin C. So I would probably consider vitamin C an important supplement if you needed to have some. We're one of the few mammals that doesn't know how to make vitamin C. Goats, on average, the average goat is about the size of an average human being. They make 13,000 milligrams per day, 13 full grams in a billy goat. And so look at what you're missing out on. It's one of the reasons they can eat almost anything. Even they could probably survive on McDonald's. So that's part of the deal right there. So I need you to understand the difference between daytime and nighttime. And nighttime is a very special place because that's where the growth hormone is. That's where the liver growth factors are. So that's really important. And I would submit to you that the heavy lifting is done at night. Of course, you stimulate that heavy lifting with what you do by day. So if you've been out there running or doing various activities, at night you're going to do supportive things and you're going to grow tissue and you're going to grow molecules that support what it is that you do by day. Okay, so that's the first thing I need you to know right away about sleep as opposed to being awake.